Man, I got to do my commentary on social media and these comments that come on social media and not the comments on my channel. I must say, I have not had, in all of the commentaries I did, I think I just had one or two comments that were just totally off the wall. I've only had to delete about one or two comments. I've been able to leave all of the comments on. I really haven't had a lot of nonsense. I remember one time somebody left a comment about I really don't even know what they were saying, but they got into this thing about Jamaicans are fucked up, the Haitians are this, like they just going on about all of these people. And I was like, damn, what did I say in my commentary that made this person think that I was going to agree with all of these people that she's saying have problems? Because even when I talk about white supremacy, I'm never talking about white people. I don't just hate races of people. That is not my thing at all. So that was one comment that I remember. And the other one, I don't even really remember the other one. That was just really the worst comment that I have ever received, because it was just like, yeah, and these people are this and that. And I'm saying, wow, some of these people she's talking about she's actually talking about me. All right. Anyway, sometimes I don't even know where to start these commentaries. That's why I like to start off giving thanks. That's what I do in the morning too. When I wake up, that's one of the first things I do. I give thanks. I designed a morning routine. That's one of the best things I could have ever done for myself, because it just makes the day more productive. It's the time that you can actually control in the day. You wake up before everybody else and you get to do the things that you need to do. So whether it's workout, one of my girlfriends came by to visit me today, and she said, she was telling me that. She said, I started having a morning routine and it is wonderful. She said she's on a high from it. And I understand what she's saying, because it's true. When I get off my morning routine, it's almost like I go into a rut, and then I have to bring myself back. So I recommend to anybody, design a morning routine that will change your life. It's wonderful. You get up, you decide what you're going to do first, and whether that's going to be workout. And then that's the thing too. You start the day with a win. So instead of getting out of bed groggy, running around, just get up a little bit earlier and do something that you want to do. One of the things when I first started this, because I've been doing this for years, but when I first started, I started with just drinking a glass of water, because that's where at the time, I don't know, I probably had a job or something, and I needed to get up and meditate. Actually, no, I didn't start with water. I started with meditation when I first started the morning routines, when I had to get up and go to work. And before I would go to work, I would want to sit back and just get my head together first. So I sit by my window and look out the window. But I think when I made the water, that was one of the best things to add to the morning routine, to start the day with water. That's what always felt like a win for me. Quite honestly, the meditation didn't feel like a win. The meditation was just something that I was practicing and wanted to get in. So I didn't really feel like, oh, I accomplished something. But drinking that glass of water first and starting the day with something my body needs always felt like a win. And then it became, okay, the water and then exercise. So you get those things out the way. So it's just a good thing. But that's not what this commentary is about. So let's just get into it. First, thank you for what you contribute to the channel. Thank you for the likes, the comments that you leave, sharing, and subscribing, all of that. So you have more than 6 dozen women that have accused Harvey Weinstein of sexual assault. Many can't file a case due to the lapse in the statute of limitations. Yet, the media doesn't spin it as Harvey Weinstein's decades of abuse like they do in the case of R. Kelly. Because of the disparaging things that his lawyers have said about his accusers, Harvey Weinstein's accusers, they were ordered not to speak about the victims outside the court to the media. And have you noticed that the media refers to the women accusing R. Kelly as victims of his abuse, and they refer to the women that say Harvey Weinstein raped them as accusers? Have you noticed that the media refers to the women that claim R. Kelly mistreated them as victims and refer to the women that say Harvey Weinstein raped them as accusers? And that's intentional. And that's why I'm going to intentionally refer to the women in the Weinstein case as victims. Mainstream media constantly reports that Harvey Weinstein's lawyers say that they expect him to be exonerated or that Weinstein expects to be exonerated. So you got to ask yourself, why do they keep repeating that? Why is that something that they want, to be in your head? And I think it's just to prepare us for the day that they come out to say that, oh, there wasn't enough evidence to convict him. I notice also that they don't ever want to refer to what R. Kelly's lawyer says. He even tweeted about that when Fox News released a statement, and they had said in a statement to Fox News, reps for Kelly said the series is nothing other than worthless propaganda without any basis in fact or reality. So what he tweeted was that he was the rep, and why not say that? So, of course, the slow people thought that Greenberg was clout chasing. So you can see their comments on his on Twitter. Oh, you need to be worried about R. Kelly instead of worrying about getting credit for what you said. They didn't get the point that he's making, okay? By saying that his lawyer said that the series is without basis in fact or reality comes across very different from just putting some rep said it. And he had gone on to say also, it appears from the trailer that they have given anyone who wishes to say something bad about Mr. Kelly a forum, including those who are advocates against him. Unfortunately, they have not given the same opportunity to Mr. Kelly's attorneys or Mr. Kelly himself. They are not interested in the truth, only ratings. So yeah, they needed to say that that was his lawyer that said that, right? So the day Harvey Weinstein's New York City trial started, he was brought up on 2 more charges in Los Angeles. And that people are saying that can be viewed as brand new additional fact patterns. Weinstein's defense team is concerned about the widespread coverage and said that it makes it impossible for him to get a fair trial. So again, this is something else that kept coming up in the news stories when they report on Weinstein. And they're saying that it's going to be impossible for him to get a fair trial, especially since his name was being smeared the day of jury selection. And I think saying his name has been smeared is a bit of an exaggeration in a time when the media is steady pumping these propaganda pieces on R. Kelly, taking tidbits and pieces and creating a whole narrative about it with the sole purpose of making him guilty in the court of public opinion. When Harvey Weinstein's lawyer attacked the Me Too and Time's Up, saying that they are devoid of facts and evidence, and that the emotion of this case has taken over and common sense has been left outside, Tawana Burke was silent. Gloria Allred, she used the opportunity to paint the black man as a sexual deviant. She brings up Mike Tyson's case from over 20 years ago instead of addressing Weinstein's behavior. And she's playing her position as prosecuting attorney in the Weinstein case totally different from how she's doing it with the R. Kelly, in the R. Kelly situation. She uses every opportunity she can to refer to R. Kelly as a sexual predator. When he was denied bail, her response, he's right where he belongs. Shouldn't have committed the crimes if jail is too uncomfortable for you. Too bad, right? This was her response. In fact, I think I could actually say that's exactly what she said. Harvey Weinstein has over 80 women accusing him of sexual crimes, including rape with brutal force. But Allred calls R. Kelly the worst sexual predator out there. And, Gloria Allred represented Weinstein victims years ago, and she negotiated NDAs. She walked away with big bucks, and Weinstein was given liberty to continue doing what he wants with women. So I think the only reason that she's representing some of Weinstein's victims now is to save face after her daughter, Lisa Bloom, was exposed for plotting with Weinstein to discredit his accusers. And that story was swept under the rug very fast. I talked about that in another commentary. They were not going to they weren't going to put light on that, because in putting light on it, it also shows you how the media works, how she was able to just place a story in the media, how they use their connections. So the media they're always trying to deceive you. That's the bottom line. Their number one tactic is deception. When Jay-Z was doing the Trayvon Martin documentary, it was reported that he with the Weinstein Company, purchased the rights to use Lisa Bloom's book for the documentary. The Trayvon documentary could have easily been well done without the use of Lisa Bloom's book. And I'm just bringing that up to reiterate that these people are friends. They work together. They're business associates. After the Gayle thing about R. Kelly aired, Bloom jumped on TV doing guest spots so that she could smear R. Kelly, saying it proves he has emotional outbursts and temper tantrums. This could be used in court. He had no regard for Gayle, and the interview could be used to confirm what was said in the first Surviving R. Kelly. So power protects power, and the media is there to protect power. While the courts, politicians were covering for Jeffrey Epstein, media conglomerates were also covering for him, and the judges and politicians that protected him. The media can tell you about R. Kelly visiting a fast food place when he was released from jail, or pick up on some social media news about his girlfriend's fake Patreon account. But somehow information about Weinstein being caught years ago on a wiretap confessing to his sexual misconduct isn't newsworthy. Making a Surviving Epstein documentary after he is said to be dead is an insult to our intelligence. R. Kelly's life is affected by Lifetime's propaganda piece. Surviving Epstein can't harm a dead man. And it's no doubt that the media is out to destroy R. Kelly. There was no need to do another Surviving R. Kelly a year later, other than to imprint in the mind of the public that this guy needs to pay for what he has done. Which is what? From the stories these women told, they're just groupies that were mistreated. And it burns me up when I read comments on corporate media sites and people are arguing rumors like they're facts. And then when they even say, the facts are, they have police reports dating 30 years back. He terrorized these women and promised them recording contracts. And I hate how easily people are fooled by the media and then carry these stories like they really have proof. You know, especially like the ones that I just said. They have police reports from 30 years back. Where did people get this information from? So I just find it sad that people don't even realize that they are arguing someone's guilt from a one-sided story. Because more than one person says the same thing, they think that the story isn't one-sided. They think that they're getting all the sides of the story. And I try to avoid responding to the stupidity, but I just couldn't resist when I read a comment that said, these girls wanted to commit suicide. When I read that one, I just had to write back, well, too bad they didn't. The world would be a better place. At least I'd be listening to some good music right now. I couldn't help myself. You know, it's like, what do these chicks really contribute to the world? And that may sound mean, but I mean, they're just some of the like low life gutter chicks. I didn't watch the first Surviving R. Kelly, so I really didn't get the whole take of it. The second one, which they called it something else, I did watch that one, and I watched it because I had started doing a commentary on it and I needed to be able to talk about it. So I went into this one with the same attitude. Let me watch this so I could talk about it. But I couldn't. It was hard to sit through. You know, it was hard to sit through. It just had a cheesy effect. It wasn't done very well. Nothing was believable. And they weren't really even giving us any new information. I'm just listening to these women's stories and their stories sound stupid. I'm saying like, okay, he's being accused by his stalker and other women that admit to willingly following him again and again. And then the chick that was the hair braider, she says after 15 minutes of conversation, he learned all this stuff about her. You know, first she says that her family was so proud of her and started talking to her because she was down with R. Kelly. And then in the next breath, she's like, you know, and I had no family. Then she's talking about she asked dudes to come jump him. I mean, who does that? What woman is like, oh, go jump him, you know? And you know what it is with me with these women? It's like, when people try to say, oh, well, they were young, or oh, they were caught up by a celebrity, or whatever excuses they make for them, I just say, what happened to that's the price you pay for stupid? What happened to that concept? In life, there's just some things that you do, and when you do stupid things, you pay the price for it. When you make certain mistakes, you pay the price for it. So I just can't sympathize with them. Okay, let's just say that this stuff even really happened. They're not really saying anything that I feel is a crime. It sounds like women that dealt with the dude that mistreated them. So anyway, and I can't sympathize with a woman who was married to him for 13 years, had children with him, and then she didn't try to help him own his own music. That's where I look at her like she's retarded, because maybe 160,000 wouldn't be so hard to come by had you done that. So when I look at it, I just look at it as in any other game, these women are losers. So what are they really saying to us? Like, now people get rewarded for losing? Is that how we're doing it now? So it's like, oh, just be a bum bitch, and this is the way the black woman wins. So the whole thing is really actually just tacky. And I'm saying, who's really falling for this? Because when you look at these documentaries, they don't even seem believable. They seem like I don't know. They seem like a soap opera, like dun 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 dun. Anyway, now I'm starting to ramble, but we might not be able to prove that R. Kelly didn't sleep with the groupies when they were underage, but we can prove the source bringing the story is disingenuous. And that's why I always focus on the media lies and the contradictions, so people will stop blindly trusting an unreliable source. If the source is deceitful, how can you have certainty? It's easier to minimize the credibility of corporate media by proving that it operates by distraction and deception than it is to prove R. Kelly didn't do the things that he's being accused of. So that's the way I look at it. Someone always sends me, I wonder how y'all feel about shout outs. I'm kind of going off here, like shouting out the people that listen and leave comments, because I have someone that sends me she sends me videos and different things on the Facebook page. I don't even really, I hate social media, and I'm thinking about I was going to really shut down the Facebook pages because I don't use them. I don't even think I know how to really use it properly, but I do have someone that always sends me things, and I appreciate her. So she sent me something from, let me look it up right now because I don't remember the name of it. This is a good R. Kelly site. They always have good content whenever she sends me something, and I need to check malicious conspiracy. So yeah, and if you're listening, girl, you know who you are. I'm just gonna say, I guess I can say her name is Angie. So shout out to you, Angie. Thank you very much. I could be a little shy sometimes. I would probably feel funny if somebody shouted my name out on something. So that's why I was saying, should I shout out? Okay, so now I'm getting distracted. So anyway, let's get back to it. So, when we just look at the media and you look at what goes on, I look at Les Moonves, right? He had numerous allegations of sexual abuse and harassment. He was able to step down from CBS with a generous compensation package or packages and stock options in the company. His unethical wife, Julie Chen, she sat on TV damn near every day ridiculing Camille Cosby, and she gets away with saying, I stand behind my husband and I will not talk about it any further. And then that story disappears and they could go on and live their life. Julie Chen and Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, they can escape scrutiny, but the women bailing R. Kelly out of jail couldn't, right? She was blasted all over the media. Jeffrey Epstein operated in the ugliness of pedophilia, but then they want to make R. Kelly the face of it, which that also, if you've listened to my commentaries before, you already know how I feel about that. Pedophilia is not sleeping with an underage girl. Pedophilia is sleeping with, I just have to reiterate this because I get so tired of that word being connected to him. It's when you are sexually attracted to children that have not been developed. So it's not a fully developed 15-year-old with a banging body or breast implants, because these parents nowadays are giving their daughters breast implants at 16, but that's another topic, right? So we won't get into that right now. And then you have the people that say, this is not about race, it's about politics, and you would never say it's about politics, not race, if you understand politics. If you understand that politics is never separate from race, politics are about race. The thing is that even with the people that want to say, I don't care who it is, anyone messing with young girls needs to be in jail, or anyone who sexually violates women, those people too, they're so full of it. It's like they just repeat talking points that were presented to them to repeat. And the reason why I say that is because if people really felt that way about it, people would have been in outrage over the women that have accused Trump of rape, and even him being linked to the 13-year-old girl in the Jeffrey Epstein case. And this is just not what's talked about. And I don't hear, forget the media, just in conversation, how many people are even focused on that? People focus on what the media tells them to focus on. And that's why I always want to come against that media, because it's leading people. It's misleading people. Let's just say it that way. It's misleading people, and people allow the media to lead them. They put their trust in the media, and the media is not something, corporate media is not something to trust, And another reason why I think a lot of times people don't get in an uproar about the Epsteins, the Weinsteins, Trumps, and all of these other white men that are being accused of rape, because this is the thing. R. Kelly they keep talking about R. Kelly. He's thrown out in the forefront, but his charges are not even on anything like that. Okay. His are kidnapping. I don't even remember the charges. So let me not even try to sit here and repeat them before somebody writes to me. No, that's not what he's on. He's on something else. All right. And so, these white dudes have like serious charges. They have like sodomy, all of these things, but it's that people have been conditioned that nothing they do is wrong. And that's how they operate. A lot of white people, that nothing they do is wrong. They are taught, and it's reinforced by white media, that, they can be unaccountable, and they've been socialized to be unaccountable for anything. And so when people want to say, no, it's not about race, don't bring race into it, it's because they're defining racism as a conscious dislike. And that's not what racism is. I'm not going to go into racism and all of that right now, but it's just like, to even sit here and say that it's not about race, you have blinders on. And I will never get off that point of it for as long as I talk about this. I'm never going to disconnect race from this, because we can't do that. And as Black people, we need to stop allowing people to tell us to stop making things about race. Because you know what? Everything is about race. That's how we need to be operating right now. If we start operating like that and take it back to that, then maybe we can win. Maybe then we'll be able to get where we need to go. Maybe if we stop thinking like, oh, well, you know what? I'm better than this one over here because I done went to college, or I'm better than this one because I make this amount of money, or whatever it is, and realize like we're all niggas in this bitch, we will be able to move further. Which reminds me of something else. I got to get on ADOS, but I'm going to talk about, I'll save that for another commentary. It's just that, see, something came to my mind when I was just talking about that, because when I said the cuss word, right, this is what brought me into it. And I know I'm veering off right here, but please stay with me. I'll bring it right back to the R. Kelly thing. I just got to say this. Wait, should I say this now? Because I really don't like to veer off. But with the cussing, I love to cuss, okay? But when you have people that this is how they are speaking, and they're speaking out to the public, and I'll throw a cuss word in my commentaries here and there, because I understand that, yeah, I am speaking to certain people, and there are certain people that I want to attract. I do want to attract the people that don't read a lot, because I have information that they don't have, because they don't read books. I speak in the way that I speak because people will be attracted to that voice they recognize. that lingo that they recognize. At the same time, I'm not going to get on here like cuss word after cuss word after cuss word, because at the same time, this is a public platform where you're reaching so many people and you don't know who you're reaching. So when I see the leaders of ADOS, whatever way they want to say it, put on their social media somebody that's cussing up a storm, I'm saying, what kind of leaders are you trying to be like this? Because that's not cute at all. And I'm not against cuss words, but I am against you trying to lead somebody somewhere or give somebody information, and that's the way you do it. Because I'm saying you're just not going to go too far with that. How far are you going to go with that? It's like me and one of my girlfriends. We cuss all the time. We like it. Okay, we like that. But at the same time, and I always tease her because ever since I met her, she's always, we were young when we met, right? So she'd be around my mother. Cuss word would slip out. And me, I was the type that I never used the cuss word in front of anybody older than me. It didn't matter. I was like, no, my mother, she never even heard me say a cuss word till I was like way grown. way grown. Okay. And that was in just like, I was so pissed off that day. I was like, ugh. And even now, up till today, I don't really use that language, because I remember when I was a little kid, I would say, and I would hear her cuss in front of her mother, and I would say, at what age do you get to be allowed to cuss in front of your parents? So I just never really did it, and I never really cussed in front of older people. So I always knew when to like turn it on and off. There are certain situations where you just don't need to, and it's not about being phony or anything like that. It's just have some class with it. So I would tease my girlfriend because, she come around my mother and she just say a curse. So my mother would be like, oh, your mouth is so nasty, right? Like, yeah, your daughter's mouth is that nasty too, which my mother knew that at the same time. So I would always tease my friend like, girl, you don't even know when to just not say one. But it's cool. So even when she had a kid, see, this is what I mean. I'll go into some other stuff with this cuss word. So let me bring it back to the commentary. I apologize, y'all. I hate when I listen to somebody's commentary and they go all off into their personal stories. I'm like, man, talk about what you are talking about. Like, I clicked on because you said that, we're going to talk about why, blah, 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 whatever it is. Okay, let me bring it back. So, all right. So a little bit like as far as Harvey Weinstein, I 100% believe he is a rapist. Still, saying he looks like Shrek, of course he forced himself on women, it does not prove that he raped women. And that's how ridiculous people sound to me when they are so adamant about R. Kelly being guilty of messing with underage girls, because people have been saying it for years. I mean, this is actually what people say. Oh, we know that he messes with underage girls because people have been saying it for years. I mean, that's just so stupid, right? But this is where we are in society. Or they'll say because he was rumored to be in a sexual relationship with Aaliyah. And anyone who does that is hella inappropriate anyway, because she is no longer on this earth. And when you have never heard her say that they were in a relationship, how do you just make a story be what you want it to be? And no one can speak for me when I'm dead, because even the people closest to me don't know about things I've done or how I feel about certain things. So if I was to die today, no one could even tell you who the love of my life was, because people that know me don't even know who it is. So anyway, and the thing is, even if R. Kelly was involved with Aaliyah over 20 something years ago, that does not imply a pattern. I was friends with the school teacher who at the time she was 27 and she had a 17-year-old boyfriend. So her explanation to me was, well, he said that he lied. She said he lied about his age when they met. So I thought it was weird because I was thinking, yeah, but after you found out how old he was, why were you still dating him, right? But she did, and his parents encouraged the relationship by letting her sleep at his house, and but that didn't indicate a pattern of her going after little boys. Now I'm not even going to get into whether that was right or wrong. it is what it is, right? So you have, and then that was legal because in New York City, the legal age is 17. So she wasn't breaking a law. So it becomes like, well, is it moral, right? Same thing going with R. Kelly. That's why when he was on Gayle King and was like, I look at legal. Yes. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. It's not forced to say whether we think a grown man should be with a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old. It's not really nobody's business. But anyway, so, and that was one situation, right? So I wouldn't say that, that proved a pattern, right? Then there was another woman that I know, and she slept with a 15-year-old boy when she was probably somewhere around 30. She might have even been a little older than 30, but she definitely had a good 10 to 15 years on the boy, right? Now, in this case, 15 wasn't the legal age. But in over 15 years, I've never known her to do that again. So if someone had accused her of targeting young boys, I can't use that one time that I know about that she slept with a 15-year-old as proof of a pattern. So that's all I'm saying. So let's just say that he did marry Aaliyah when she was 15 or 27, right? That does not prove a pattern. As much as they want to tell you that it proves a pattern, no, it doesn't. His wife wasn't a teenager when he married her, right? So this is what I'm just saying. People are not thinking. Yet the media has convinced people that one time that we heard of, because we don't really know anything else except what the media has told us. That's the other thing. These people that just want to keep being like, yeah, and we know you don't know anything. You only know what the media has told you. I had to write back to someone, and I got to really stop getting caught up in these comments, right? When somebody was like, oh, I know. What was it that they said they know? Oh, I lost it now. I just had it and I lost it. But they were like, well, I know that. Or I'm like, how do you know that? It was with, he has problems. He needs help and he is a hurt person and has issues and he needs to get help and that's why he hurts people. And I'm saying, really? How do you know this though? Like, how do you say this about someone that you have never met before? Like, these people crack me up. But anyway, so, and the reason why I always like to talk about this is because I don't look at this as something that's just happening to R. Kelly. I'm looking at this as something that's happening to all of us. It's all of us, because this shows you how easy something can be done to you. It shows you how much people really don't know. What it really just shows, to sum it up, is how unjust our justice system is. And that's the key point for me. All this other stuff that people get into, these conversations that you see in the comment sections of the, corporate media accounts, because mostly that's what I'm looking at the corporate media accounts. As far as the other R. Kelly supporters, I don't spend too much time I don't really spend too much time actually going on any of the R. Kelly stuff because it's giving me a headache. At this point, I'm just waiting for him to get off, for him to walk free so that he can show the world that he really can fly, that with God on his side, he believes he can fly, and he did. That's where I'm at with it. That's where I've been at with it from day one. That was another point I wanted to point out in the second Surviving R. Kelly, which is actually the third Surviving R. Kelly. Is they tried to get on, and this is where you see that they looking at social media, seeing where the mood of the public is and how they're going to address that. So they're saying like, oh, the R. Kelly fans, they like songs and they resonate with the songs and they did this through the songs, so they can't see him as doing this, blah, blah, blah. No. Yes, I listen to the songs and I have connected to those songs in a certain way, and yes, it does make me see R. Kelly in a certain way, because I'm saying you can't write a song like Prayer Changes when he's talking about a young girl like me caught up in a little I gotta laugh because my singing, everyone says I sound horrible. Of course, to myself, I think I sound well. So I wanted to sing that part, but I'm not gonna put y'all through that. I done rambled a couple of times and all of that, so I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, so when you listen to those words and when he's talking about with the young girl, when she says a young girl like me, and then she's with the person beating her up, and then she's like, I got rid of him. I'm not confused. You can't be a woman abuser and then write that. Like, what kind of person does that? So then you're telling me now that he's a psychopath. So yeah, you can listen to the songs and get a certain idea about something when a person writes the songs. You're seeing the mind of a person. So, but why I wanted to bring that up is because going back to what I'm saying about with God on his side, he believes he can fly. That's my thing and how I always looked at the R. Kelly situation. We can say, what were you doing? Or you needed to be, what kind of people did you have around you? This, that, and the third. Sometimes you are put through, especially when you are a warrior, when you are one of those God's people that you are walking by faith. He has said many times, I am tied to my destiny. And that was the part that I loved in the second Surviving R. Kelly. When they did show him talking the one time, and see, for me, it just shows you how God operates, because they didn't even know what they were doing when they put that in. They showed the scene where he was talking about something and he said, I'm tied to my destiny. And see, that's how he operates. And that's why I say that's my brother, because that's how I operate. I'm tied to my destiny. And when you're tied to your destiny, no matter what you go through, you always have your eyes on how you're coming through with God and what God is showing you in a situation. So that's the word that I always would, if he could ever hear anything I have to say, is that's what I want to say to him. You keep your head up. You keep looking up to the sky, because all of those things that he wrote in the songs that helped me get through things, let him remember the words that he wrote for himself to use in this situation right now. And that's what we're going to see. And the day that he walks out, like he told us, he believes he could fly. And when he shows the world that he believes he can fly, we got to celebrate that. Have a big old party. I know I'm going to have one. I'm going to have even if the party's by myself. But now I'm going off again. So yeah, it's things like that. So, he said he's tied to his destiny, and you got to go through things sometimes. He got this situation because he can handle this situation. I always said this is bigger than R. Kelly. And what I hope comes out of it is that people can get themselves together. It's just like when I do these commentaries. I have one commentary that I have over 30,000 views, or maybe at this point 40,000 views. And then I have commentaries. I don't put R. Kelly's name in it or anything else, but it's messages that some of these R. Kelly supporters, because when I do see them on sites, I see these same people and I'm saying, what do y'all do all day? Y'all have time to be jumping on this site to that site to this thing, like being so obsessed with the R. Kelly stuff, right? You might need some of these other messages that I have on here. Like, what are we going to do as a people to get stronger? You know what I mean? So that we don't have to go through this again with somebody else, another one of our people. We need to start elevating our people ourselves, not relying on people. Like, what I would love to see come out of this is that Black people decide we don't really want to deal with white record companies anymore. Let's just do our own thing. Let's bring it back to underground. Rap music, when it first came out, was, and we used to call it rhyming, okay? And it became rhyming, then it went to rap, to hip hop, they keep giving it these different names. But when it came out, it was really in the streets. And it blew up just on that, okay? I remember when I was a little kid. See, okay, I don't want to go back all into these stories again. Let me just stop. But what I would like to see come through it is, again, music starting from just, how would we say it? Like from the, I guess the underground, just within, like not going to these record labels that are going to try to have you singing, or because the music today, I never thought I was going to be like this, where I can't take the new music. Okay. I used to say when I was younger, oh, I don't want to be like these old people that can't listen to the new music, but the music's horrible. And I have a little kid that and he's funny because he's like, he knows I call it control music. So he's like, can I just listen to some control music? And I say, no, you're not going to listen to. Now, what am I supposed to tell a little 5-year-old? So I got to say, no, you're not just going to listen to music that's telling you to do drugs and to be killing people. This is just, I'm not feeding your mind with that. Okay. I don't want you to be listening to this. So this is where I think parents today, we have it harder than parents of any generation, because we have so much that's coming at our kids that we have to really be on the lookout for. Just for a quick example, when I wanted to run away when I was a kid, right, I would have had to rely on the people around me, or like the resources I had right in front of me. Kids today, if they want to run away, they're on social media talking to somebody that can be across the world, in another state. So it could be so much easier for your kid to run away from home. Because now you want to talk about predators. Let's talk about real predators out here, right? Because that's another thing. I can't stand when they call R. Kelly a predator, because how is he a predator when these women stalked him? This is the craziness. But all right, back to what I'm saying about kids. So your kid can be talking to someone online, your little 10-year-old. Then you have an argument with your kid. They're around that age, 12, 13, when it's battles, right? And they're like, oh, I hate you. You never let me do anything. Then they're telling their little friend, who they have no idea who it is. The person could be telling them, oh, I'm 19, right? But it's really like a 27-year-old or someone with a job. They can really get your kid someplace. Oh, your mother's really giving you a hard time. Your father's not letting you leave the house. You know what? I'll come pick you up. I'll meet you here. They come scoop your kid up. Your kid will be in another state with the quickness. So we have just different obstacles to face as parents today. So that's what I'm saying. The music, instead of being with these record labels that are just really exploiting and using the people, because this is what happened to R. Kelly. They were like, look, this little ghetto dude, he doesn't have much education, but he is a good songwriter. We're going to just milk him for as much as we can, and then we're just going to throw him away. And that's what you really see going on, bottom line. But then they use their distraction and deception to spin it. So, and I even look at that. You see the documentary, and they have these, they show actresses that came against R. Kelly, right? So they had Shonda Rhimes, Kerry Washington, and another black actress. I don't remember who it is. And you just don't see this when it comes to Harvey Weinstein. Even though you have a lot of actresses that are accusing him, you don't see anyone coming after his money. Like, oh, let's just mute. Well, they can't mute Harvey Weinstein, but you understand what I'm saying. They're not trying to say, oh, let's go after this. Let's shut him down where he can't make money. The same thing. That's why I use the example of Les Moonves. He left with money. He left with stock options. He left with compensation. But in the R. Kelly situation, you have all these people going out there like, he doesn't deserve to do a concert and get money. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing. And the public falls for this, and the public agrees to this, and nobody's fighting against this. That's why I say it's not just about R. Kelly. This is about all of us. What are we really allowing to happen? What are we just sitting on our hands about? So, that's just another part that I think about. And it was something else I wanted to say about the documentary, about the women coming forth and not wanting him to get the money, him saying he's tied to his destiny. That was the best part. And after he said that, I said, okay, now I understand why I had to watch this, because it was very boring to me. And it, it wasn't even stirring up an emotion like, oh, this is making me mad. I was like, this is just some straight garbage. What is this? And the women, look, on that trial, they need to make sure that they get some women in the jury, and some women that can recognize what is going on. Women that are going to be like, these are some ghetto rats, and see through them. Bottom line, that's what they need to have on a jury, because I'm watching them and I'm seeing exactly what they are. Kitty Jones or whatever she is. I'm saying this one right here, I worked with thousands of Kitty Joneses. She's not about nothing. You don't, and it comes out of that mouth, it comes out of that body language. You just know, you see these type of people time and time again. So they just need to make sure they get the right people on the jury. But you know what? I don't even want to say that because like I said, I'm staying with let's watch God work. And I think on that, I'm going to end this commentary here because I done rambled in places. I don't like the commentaries to go too long. We all should be doing things that we need to be doing a little bit. That's what I was saying before when I was talking about the views. See, I rambled off because I did want to make this point. Those people that are running around with on all the R. Kelly sites, these are the people that I do want. I'm gonna have to title something R. Kelly because I need not need, but those are the people I want to reach. People that have time to be on YouTube all day long, or that really they don't have time. That's the thing. I want those people to get a message. I want them to hear, like, use your time valuably. Treat yourself like you love yourself. You can do so much more and have so much of a more enjoyable life if you use that time that you're on these sites listening to what somebody has to say about R. Kelly for better things. So that was what I was starting to say before when I was saying the sites that I go on to, when I go on to the other sites like CBS or the mainstream media, because that's who I want to combat. So I try to go on their sites. And when you read the comments, you see how many people really have been swayed. So even though there's a lot of us on here going for R. Kelly, I still think the majority of the people believe they have been swayed by mainstream media. That's just my point. So I prefer to have I want my commentary about when I talk about R. Kelly to actually reach the people who believe that he's guilty. I don't really want the fans. I don't really want to reach them, but I want to reach the fans that are on every channel on my commentaries about lift yourself up, build yourself up, cater to yourself, treat yourself like you love yourself, empower yourself, be strong, create a business. You know what I mean? Be the best parent you can be. That's why sometimes when I talk about the kid, it's not to complain about him or anything like that. It's that there are true, real feelings with this parenting thing that can be overwhelming. And I know sisters out here are overwhelmed. So I want to speak to that we can't just brush over it and be like, well, these kids get on my fucking nerves. You know, we got to really tune in to what's going on and do better and do better. That's the whole point. I hate social media. I come on here because I want to use social media for something better. You know, social media is really not my thing. And I hate when I even get caught up in it. When I end up watching YouTube video after YouTube video, because there's really so much other things that I can be doing. So this commentary, I'm kind of all over the place. So anyone that stayed with me, God, I hope it's not 30 minutes long. I really appreciate you. I'll try to make the next one a little bit shorter. And just be more precise, not go off into all other things. But I hope that either way, the time that you spend here, you got something from it. You feel good, whatever it is. But more than feel good, maybe got something that will make you say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to be the best that I can be today. And that's always it. I want to encourage you to always be the best you can be today. Thanks for listening. Take it in and win.